Kela Gora Natara Pashane Kutibo Mata Anale Pashibo Goranga Punera Nidi Kota Gele Pavo
Goranga Punera Nidi Kota Gele Pavo
Sesaba Sangira Sangenge Ye koilo pila Sesaba Sangira Sangenge Koilo pila Se sanga napaya kande naru kammata Se sanga kammata. It's the same in French as it is in English. Ye anilo prematana karuna pracho Yanilo prematana karuna pracho Eno Prabhu Kota Kela Charya Thakur Oh hey Vaishnava Thakur, oh hey Vaishnava Thakur Vaishnava Thakur, oh hey Vaishnava Thakur Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Sanatana Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami. Sanatana Goswami, Srila Sanatana Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Srila. Go Premanande, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Now I know we haven't got time for reading that. Our time is so short. 30 minutes only here. So I don't think we have the English version here. You don't have the Samadhi's book here, but if you bring my computer is on the desk in front of Giriraj. Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghushaka Shri Jiva Gopalako Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghushaka Shri Jiva Gopalako Go Premanandi. Shortcut, huh? So we're just today Sanatana Goswami, although we're Rupanugas, Sanatana Goswami is actually the senior member, as you may well know, of the Sad Goswamis, 6 Goswamis. He is the senior member. So we will read a little bit, just give me a second here, about him and then discuss a little bit about him. Vaishnava biographies, here we go. Sanatana Goswami. I have a very long one, but we're not going to read that. That's like, we just read the shortest, shortened abridged version from Mahanidi Maharaj's book on Samadhis in Vrindavan. So here let's hear what we say. It's a brief summary, I think, of some of the aspects of Sanatana Goswami's, let's say, presence in this world. Srila Sanatana Goswami appeared in 1488. 1488. How long ago is that? That's 12 plus 23, 35. So that's 535 years ago. Is that right? 535 years ago. He appeared 5 years before Rupa Goswami. Rupa appeared 5 years later in a Sarasvata Brahmin family in Bengal. Originally that family came from South India, but they moved to Bengal. Sanatana and his 2 brothers Rupa and Anupam were always absorbed in Bhava Bhakti from early childhood. Ecstatic devotional service. Remembering Vrindavan, they named the forest in which they played after British 12th forest. Instead of calling it, I don't know the names of forests in France, but they named all the forests in their local village where they used to play, like Talavan, Mahavan, Kamyavan, and so on. They called their favourite bathing ponds Radhakund and Shamakund. So you can see that they were devotees from birth. In his youth, Sri Sanatana dreamt that a beautiful Brahmin boy gave him a Srimad Bhagavatam. Feeling ecstatic, he awoke, but seeing neither the boy nor the Bhagavatam, he felt sad. When Sanatana began his puja that morning, however, Krishna himself, disguised as a beautiful Brahmin boy, came and said, "Take this Srimad Bhagavatam from me, always study it, and you will attain perfection." In Krishna Lila Stava, Srila Sanatana Goswami, this is one of the books written by him, Srila Sanatana Goswami glorifies the Srimad Bhagavatam. Here's a nice verse. "O holy Bhagavat, you are my only company, my only friend, and my guru. You are my greatest treasure and my personal savior. You are the emblem of my highest fortune and the very form of ecstasy. I offer my obeisances unto you." A nice prayer to the Srimad Bhagavatam. If you want to offer a prayer to the Bhagavatam. Forced to submit to the ruling Muslim government, Sri Rupa and Sri Sanatana became ministers. Nawab Hussain Shah, they were obligated, otherwise the Hindus would be basically tortured, because Rupa and Sanatana were renowned as great scholars, and they were, anyway, like that. Very educated, very qualified, and very popular. So the Nawab wanted to have them on his side so that he could control the Hindus and be, successful in his mission. So they became ministers in the government of Nawab Hussain Shah, and they were basically, the Nawab was depending upon them practically. And they lived in Ramkeli because that was near where they needed to be. But their real engagement was teaching Shastra, which they learned from Vachaspati, brother of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Pandits and Brahmins from all over India came to study under the two brothers. So even this is before they met Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Rupa and Sanatana were acclaimed as the crest jewels, because this is just a summary, don't forget. It's not necessarily any, or some, but not necessarily in chronological order. Sri Rupa and Sanatana were acclaimed as the crest jewels of the Gaudiya Vaishnava scholars. After the Lord visited Ramkeli and freed them, they renounced everything for Lord Gauranga's service. In other words, freed them from their entanglement or their involvement in one sense. They're not entangled, but involved in the service of the Nawab. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ordered them to go to Vrindavan and perform 4 services. Perhaps you remember these 4 services which Lord Chaitanya gave them? In Vrindavan, he gave them these instructions before they went to Vrindavan, but they were instructions what to do in Vrindavan. So what did he say? Excavate, exactly. Uncover Sri Krishna's pastime places. To find the place, because nobody knew where these places were. I mean, Govardhan Hill was there, of course, people knew. And they knew Yamuna was there, but other details, like, where the Rasa Leela took place, or where Radha Kund was, and other Kunds, Prem Sarovar, and different Sarovars, were unknown to the people. Only very few were still known where those places are. They were just unknown. So that was one of their duties, to uncover those places. And together with other devotees, they uncovered many of the pastime places of Lord Krishna. Another one?
To die is scripture.
Pardon?
To die is scripture.
To what?
To die is a scripture.
Right.
Study.
Study.
Study the Shastra.
Study the Shastra, yes, but more specifically.
To establish the tattvas.
Pardon?
To establish the tattvas.
Yes, but specifically to compile Bhakti Shastras, to compile literature, to explain Lord Chaitanya's teachings, of course, but explain the truths. Shastras, they compiled many Shastras. Both Sanatana, Rupa particularly, of course, is famous, and later on Jiva. But Sanatana also compiled many, we just heard of one of them. Another, probably the most famous of his compilations is? Pardon? Yes. Hari Bhakti Vilas, in conjunction or together in collaboration with Gopalbhatta Goswami, he compiled Hari Bhakti Vilas, and more famous than that probably. Pardon? That's Jiva Goswami. Brihat Bhagavatamrita. Very famous. So compiling Bhakti Shastras, what else? Pardon? You kind of install deities and arrange for their puja. And then through others they inspired the building of temples. That was a long, slow process, but particularly to install deities and show the proper form of worshipping the deity. And the 4th one, which is somewhat related to the 2nd one, which was mentioned, basically. Songs? No, not in the case of the 6 Goswamis. They're not very renowned for compiling songs. So there may be 1 or 2, but not many. They're, it's totally related to the 2nd one. It's to propagate the rules of devotional service. And that's where Hari Bhakti Vilas comes in, of course. The rules of devotional service, not just the philosophy, but the rules, Vaishnava behavior, Vaishnava etiquette, etc. Entering Lord Chaitanya's service, they resolutely gave up power, riches, and position to live in Vrindavan as humble beggars absorbed in bhajan. And if you have time today, read the Sad Goswami Ashtakam, you'll see their behavior in Vrindavan was extraordinary. genuine renunciation. Best not to lose Lord Balaram as your resting place. He may be made of fibre or whatever, but still he represents Lord Balaram, so we don't rest on. We do in one sense, but we don't physically rest on Lord Balaram. One cannot properly perform Krishna bhajan until one renounces all attachments, both internally and externally, and adopts a life of simplicity and humility. That's from Freebird. Anyway, it's from the Purikrama book, whatever that is. It's, I think, I don't know originally where it's from what's it called? Anyway, one of those literatures describing Purikrama in Vrindavan. They travelled extensively through Vrajamandal, discovering many lila stands and places of the pastimes of Lord Radha and Krishna, of Radha Madhava. Having no fixed residence, they would catch a few winks of sleep. In English, a few winks. Do you know that meaning? Winks of sleep? Very rarely used now, a wink of sleep. It means just a little, like yesterday, between when I led kirtan and when I gave class, I took a wink of sleep. Someone sang Namaste and someone read from the Namamrita. I didn't hear anything. I just passed out for 3 or 4 minutes while you were doing that. It's like a wink, a little nap. Snap, Prabhupada would call it. Take a snap. Just a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, with a little bit of here and there, just knock off a little bit. They would catch a few winks of sleep. When we use the word wink, it's not exactly the right term, because they would generally sleep 1 hour or 1.5 hours a day. And they wouldn't sleep in nice soft beds. Some of us sleep on nice beds, some of you sleep on the floor, but we're sleeping in a nice soft cushioned bed. Very nice mattress, thank you very much. It's a good one, it's a good mattress. So we're sleeping in nice soft beds, just like Hiranyakashipu, but they slept on the floor. They had no mattress, they just slept under a tree. I don't think they even had a mat. They just sleep on the floor under a tree. Every night a different tree, so they won't become attached to a particular. It's a nice tree. I've got a nice spot under this tree. This is my spot. This is my spot. You can't sit and sleep in my spot. That's my bed. That's mine. So they were totally attached, whatever Krishna arranged. Rupa and Sanatana spent all their time writing, discussing Krishna's pastimes and chanting Krishna's holy names. To maintain himself, Sanatana would beg wheat flour, roll it into a ball by adding a touch of Jamuna water and drop it in smouldering coals to cook it. You make a ball of wheat by mixing it with Jamuna water and then just throw it in the fire. You just get like a wood fire or something. The smouldering coals. After the fire is not blazing, it's still hot. They put it in there. He would offer this bati, salt-free baked bread ball. Maybe we should make this today. Maybe we should try this today. You haven't got a fire though with smouldering coals. Difficult. We could do it in New Mayapur in the wood fire. So we'd offer this bhati to his deity of Madan Mohan, giving up all kinds of material enjoyments. The Goswamis accepted the poorest way of life as mendicants. They ate just enough to maintain their bodies. I don't want to comment on this too much because it might be coming up in a few minutes. The story is related to this. I haven't read that. I haven't looked at this before we started, so I don't know. The Radha Madan Mohan Mandir, established by Sanatana Goswami, was the first one opened in Vrindavan by the 6 Goswamis. Described as the personal extension of the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Sanatana is the ideal spiritual master because he gives one shelter, at the lotus feet of Madan Mohan. So there's one point that we mentioned here. The three Vrindavan deities, Madan Mohan, Gopindaji and Gopinath, are the life and soul of the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. The deity of Madan Mohan has the specific quality of helping the neophyte devotees understand their eternal relationships with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Madan Mohan means Krishna, who is so indescribably beautiful that he even attracts Cupid, Kamadev. Sanatana Goswami is the Sambandha Acharya, who gives us knowledge of our proper relationship with Krishna. I guess he'll tell us who he is. We know what we'll say if it doesn't. And his deity, Madan Mohan, helps us overcome our attraction for material sense gratification. That's nice. Or Cupid. And fix our minds on devotional service. Srila Sanatana Goswami spent 43 years wandering from village to village in Vrindavan. The Brajvasis would affectionately care for him, treating him like their father. With patience and concern, he listened to their problems. Then he would please all the villagers by his preaching and practical advice on everything from increasing crop yields to solving family quarrels. He really was not just a preacher of spiritual life, so to speak, but he would preach according to the person's needs and in a way which they would become endeared to him and accept him like, their guru. So most people's needs and interests are family life and economic development. That's the two major needs of people in general, family life and economic development. So he would even help them with that because he was expert. He was an expert in that field. An expert mediator, even solve their family quarrels. Family quarrels is not a new thing. It took place even at that stage. So. Of course, there are quarrels outside of family too. We sometimes say, family or no family, we still tend to quarrel. Renouncing all worldly pleasures, Sanatana Goswami was humble, detached, always absorbed in study. Mahaprabhu often said that Sanatana Goswami was his favorite devotee. As an ocean of love and mercy, because Lord Chaitanya said that about a few devotees, Sanatana excelled all of other devotees in his compassion toward the suffering souls. So then back to you at the car. In his last years, he left his beloved deity of Madan Mohan with Krishnadas Brahmachari, his disciple. He did bhajan on the banks of Manasi Ganga next to Chakaleshwar Mahadev at Govardhan. Daily he walked the 24-mile parikrama. Original, that's the longer route, 24-mile parikrama of Govardhan Hill. Although he was 65 years old, he kept his daily vow of offering 1,008 obeisances to Govardhan Hill and to any Vaishnava whom he met. Understanding the difficulty of his pure devotee, Sri Madan Mohan appeared one day and said, "Baba, you are too old. Don't take so much trouble to walk around Govardhan Hill every day." Sanatana replied, "This is one of my daily activities of my bhajan. I must maintain it." "Since you're old," said Madan Mohan, "you may not now give up this vow." Starting to walk again, Sanatana replied, "I will never give up my religious principles." Sanatana Goswami's firm determination to complete his daily devotional vow pleased Madan Mohan, or Krishna. But in loving dealings between the Lord and his pure devotee, Krishna's desire to please his devotee often defeats the devotee's desire to please him. So out of loving compassion for his devotee, Sri Krishna stood on a large flat stone, Govardhan Shila, taken from Giriraj. He played his irresistible flute. The Govardhan Shila melted in ecstasy, capturing the impression of Krishna's lotus feet. Presenting this to Sanatana, Krishna said, "If you circumambulate this Shila every day, it will be the same as going around Govardhan Hill every day. You will keep your vow intact and not compromise your religious principles." Seeing that Giriraj himself, Sri Krishna, had given the Shila, Sanatana Goswami gratefully accepted And one can still see that Govardhan Shila in the Radha Damodar temple. You've seen it? No, I've not been there. But you used to be 100 rupees, I think it's 1,000 now, isn't it, for darshan? I'm not sure, but you have to give some donation. Unless someone else is there at the same time. Or you're, let's say, somebody they know or something. Sanatana Goswami was empowered to explain esoteric aspects of Krishna's manifest and unmanifest Vrajleelas. Sanatana Goswami made a significant literary contribution to the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya with his Hari Bhakti Vilas, Brihat Bhagavatamrita and Brihat Vaishnava Toshini in the form of Labanga Manjari. Sanatana Goswami serves Srimati Vishakha in Radha Madhava's Nikunj Lila. Sanatana Goswami's Samadhi is behind the Radha Madhava Mohan temple. So it's a very quick summary. So perhaps some of the other factors which are very famous from Sanatana Goswami's life. Prabhupada, even in 1966, was talking daily about this in classes. How Sanatana Goswami escaped from his position of the minister in the Nawab Hussein's government. Rupa and Anupam had already left, and only Sanatana remained because he couldn't leave all at once so easily. So he remained back in Ramkeli and maintained the post of minister in Nawab's government, like a prime minister, a very important post. But eventually, of course, he desired to leave and go to join his brothers in Vrindavan and follow Lord Chaitanya's order. But that wasn't an easy task, as you may know. The Nawab was not at all pleased with him. First of all, Nawab Sanatana stopped going to his duties. He just stayed at home and sent sick reports. So the Nawab went on for some while. The Nawab wanted to check out what was really going on, so he sent his own physician there to see what was wrong with Sanatana. If he's sick, there must be something wrong. And when the physician, the doctor saw there's nothing wrong with this Sanatana, he's simply spending all the time in his house, there's nothing wrong with him. Actually, Sanatana Goswami, it wasn't Sanatana then, he was Sakya Malik. They had Muslim names, Dabir Kas and Sakya Malik. So Sakya Malik was just reading all day long and studying. He had many Brahmin Vaishnavas there, and they were just reading Bhagavatam all day long. There was no apparent sickness at all. So the physician reported back to the Nawab. Nawab was very upset. He arrested. He asked him, look, and he said, Sakya Malik, I'm going now on tour of Orissa to conquer over Orissa. I want you to come with me. He said, no. He said, oh. He was very upset. So he arrested, he put Sanatana under house arrest. So he couldn't leave. Of course, the Nawab went away on his mission. Sanatana Goswami said a few things. Anyway, he was kept under house arrest. So whilst the Nawab was away, Sanatana devised a plan. His brother Rupa had left a large quantity of wealth with one local banker, or money person who looks after money in the corporate bank in those days. So somehow or another, he was under house arrest, but he still had ability to communicate with the world around. So he sent a message to the person with this wealth that Rupert left behind. And he then talked to the prison warder in it's like a house arrest. He was like in a big house. So the warder was a Muslim, of course. So he said, please, he praised this warder. You are a saint. You are such a saintly person. And on and on he was going. And he said, it is the greatest service, which one can do is to allow one to make a holy pilgrimage to Mecca. Please, if you'll be very kind, I want to go to Mecca. And he kept on. He said, you're like, a saint amongst men. And the Muslim became a little bit, he was a simple man, he became a little bit, And then Sanatana bribed him. He offered him so many gold coins, if you let me go. And the prison was a little bit cautious, but eventually he offered him something like 10,000 gold coins or some huge amount of money. And eventually the prisoner, he said, just tell her now I went down to pass Stoll of the river, and I jumped into the river and you never saw me again. I just committed suicide. If she asks you, where am I? So like this, he managed to get out of the house arrest, and he picked up his servant Ishan, and they went off to Vrindavan. On the way they came to a hilly region, and it was difficult to cross over. They stayed in a guest house, an inn, like an inn, like a guest house, yeah. But it was more than like a restaurant guest house. So they stayed there overnight. But the owner of that place, he was a bit of a dacoit, and he had this like astrologer or person who could see, different people had when they came to stay in the guest house. So he said, "Wait, this mendicant, he looked like a Muslim mendicant because he had beard and stuff. This mendicant's got a lot of money on him. He's very rich." "Really?" "Yeah." So then the inn owner, he said, "Oh, we're very happy that you're staying with us tonight. You're most welcome. You can stay free of charge." And he gave him all facilities. And Sanatana Goswami, being a politician, he guess there's something wrong here. They say too much devotion is a sign of a thief. That has to be understood properly, not just like that. But because why is he looking up? Why is he so keen to give me, I have nothing, I'm just a mendicant, I have nothing at all. Why is he treating me so nicely like this? There's something fishy going on here. I mean, he could understand what was going on. Sanatana Goswami said, Ishan, tell me truly, are you carrying some wealth? Are you carrying wealth? And Ishan couldn't hide. He said, "Yes, I guess he was a servant of Sanatana." He said, "My lord, yes, I'm carrying 7 gold coins." 7 gold, this is a death knell. Give me those coins right now. So the Ishan gave Sanatana the coins, and he went straight to the inn owner, to the man in charge of the inn, and said, "Please take these gold coins." The man was shocked. He said, "My goodness." He was very happy because he didn't have to kill. He was going to kill Sanatana Goswami and Ishan to get those coins. That was his plan. In the night, he said, "Now I'm so happy. I have to tell you honestly, I was going to kill you this very night and steal those coins." And Sanatana said, "Please take these." And he saw it as a death knell. So then the inn owner was very happy. He said, "Okay, I will help you over the hills tomorrow. I would have you safely cross over the big hills." He knew the way through. So in this way they set off. But then Sanatana said to Ishan, "Tell me honestly, do you have any more gold coins with you?" "Oh no," the inn owner said, "Well, thank you so much. You're very wonderful." He said, my astrologer told me you had 8 gold coins, given 7. So you keep the other one, no problem. But Sanatana was very upset with Ishan. He still had one left. He said, "Go home. You cannot travel with me anymore. You are like a death now. Somebody will kill me for this 1 gold coin." It's one of the dangers of wealth. There's always somebody after you. Always someone. Sometimes it's a Hare Krishna chasing you for your wealth on the streets of Lyon. Yeah. You look like a very wealthy man. Anyway, they went through and on they went to Sri Vrindavan Dham. And he met Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually on the way. As he was going, they came to Varanasi. And in Varanasi, Lord Chaitanya gave extensive teachings to Sanatana Goswami, which formed the basis of his writings, etc., that you can read about in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And in Vrindavan, we have only a few minutes left. In Vrindavan, of course, he's famous. So some of the factors were mentioned there. And what else? He was very famous, of course, for establishing the temple. But his deities, he was worshipping the deity on that hill, Dashta Dvita Hill, or whatever it's called, Dasa Dvita Hill or something. And on top of the hill, he was worshipping his deity there, originally called Madan Gopal. He got that deity in Mathura when he was going on Madhukarna in Mathura. He came to one house of one Brahmin who actually had this deity of Madan Gopal. And this Brahmin had received the deity from Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya was actually worshipping Madan Mohan before Sanatana Goswami. That's where if you go from the Madan Mohan temple, 100 meters down the hill, you come to Advaita Vat. One small temple there, and that's the place where Madan Gopal manifested. He was he saw to Advaita Acharya, and Advaita Acharya began worshipping. When Advaita Acharya left Vrindavan and went back to Bengal, he gave that deity to this Brahmin who was living in Mathura. And he'd been looking after the deity since then. So Sanatana Goswami, it's a long story, we're not going to tell it. But Sanatana Goswami received that. The deity himself told that Brahmin, I want to. The deity said to the Brahmin, he said, you have many sons, Sanatana has no sons. You give me to him. So the Brahmin gave Sanatana Goswami the deity of Madan Gopal, and then he named him Madan Mohan. But Madan Mohan, he was worshipping him in a tree, and just like we heard about the bati, this dough ball roasted in the fire, he gave him. He would offer that to his deity. One day the deity said, well, goodness gracious, can't you at least offer me some salt with the chapati, the bread bowl, or even the chapati with the bati? So that Goswami said, if you don't, what will come next? Now you're asking for salt. Next you ask for rasgullas. There'll be no end to what you're going to ask. This is all I've got. Just take what I've got. I offer you whatever I get. So he was talking to Madan Mohan, okay. And Madan Mohan would accept whatever Sanatana would. Famous story, of course, how the temple was constructed, that rich trader coming down, maybe from Punjab or something, this rich trader was coming down the Jamuna, and his boat got stuck in the river on a sandbank, and he was jammed, he couldn't get it out. He was a big, I guess like a barge or something, full of salt. He was on his way to Agra, I think, to sell the salt. And he got stuck, so he didn't know what to do. The man went ashore, and somebody told him, maybe up on the hill there's a saintly person on the hill, maybe he can help you, some very mystical person. So he went up and saw Sanatana Goswami, and Sanatana Goswami, what did he do exactly? Sanatana Goswami. I've forgotten the exact story. It's such a long, long time ago. We haven't read or heard that story. Krishna. I can't remember. Anyway, someone other by Sanatana Goswami's grace, the boat was released from the sandbank, and the merchant went on down and sold his products at a very high price. Made a big profit. Big profit. So he came back, and he'd already promised that, he would help Sanatana Goswami. Well, how can I serve you? So Sanatana Goswami wanted a temple to be built for Madan Mohan, so that rich merchant agreed to help finance that temple to build for Madan Mohan. Most of the temple was destroyed later on by the Muslims, of course, and a new structure was put up. Some of it still remains. And anyway, I'll look it up, see, I can't remember the exact story. Krishna was also involved directly in that story. So many stories are there, Sanatana Goswami, the touchstone, and this, that, and the other. What else? He went to Jagannath Puri and met Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Puri later on. He stayed with Haridas. He also never entered the Jagannath temple, neither did Rupa. They stayed with Haridas. They considered themselves outcasts because they worked for the Muslim Nawab. they also they consider themselves, they'd given up their Hindu, say, caste, and they adopted the behavior, probably even says, of Muslims, whatever that is. But that was just on the surface. They never gave up their love for Krishna, their devotion to Krishna. So when he came there, actually, he'd been going through the forest. His whole body was covered in sores, oozing pus. When Lord Chaitanya saw him, he immediately embraced him. Sanatana was shocked. Don't touch me more. I'm so contaminated. I'm covered in sores. Lord Chaitanya, I'm touching you to purify myself. Sanatana Goswami saw him as he said here, extension of his own very form, as the topmost of all Vaishnavas. Sanatana Goswami, most elevated. Rupa Goswami would, in fact, there's that song. What's that song now? Anyway, Rupa Goswami considers him as his, as like his guru, like his guru. Although we're known as Rupanugas, nonetheless he would consider Sanatana, because he was older, he was many years older, and he considered him like that as his senior. And he wrote many books. And when he was staying at Chakaleshwar in Manasi Ganga, of course there were many mosquitoes there. And he decided he would move away, so that night Lord Shiva appeared to him, Lord Shiva, because Lord Shiva is a temple of Lord Shiva there. And he drove away all the mosquitoes, so Sanatana could stay there, continue with his bhajan. There's no mosquitoes there anymore. So if you want to go to Vrindavan with no mosquitoes, you go to the place where Sanatana Goswami's bhajan kutir is there on banks of Manasi Ganga. Well, it's now 9:40. You have to get ready for your session, your class. So now is Chatamas, so all you eat now is just khichdi, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just plain boiled khichdi, no sabji, no salt, no pepper, no spices. Just plain khichdi, no ghee. And you pour it on the floor. You can wash the floor here, just pour it in front of you. You can ask and start doing this. I can see he's getting excited. His fanatical mind will now start thinking, yes. No, you don't do this. You carry on with your devotional service, offering prasad, offering the normal prasadam. If you want to, I don't know if you do eat shak anyway, I never see it much around these days. Very rare that we get shak these days. Very rare. And Lord Chaitanya's favourite, but this 1 month, strict Gaudiya Vaishnavas avoid taking shak, strict ones. Partly during this month there's this one bug, and it's something like that bug that crawled on that devotee yesterday, I don't know who it was. It's kind of a bug that's really not good, and it gets into all the shak, and it's very bad for your house. So it has a health reason too, why shak during this month. But it just so happened to be that this is the month of the year when shak grows more than any other time of the year.
Yeah.
In this part of the world, anyway. So that's an austerity. Hare Krishna. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
I have a question. You said that the Govardhan Shila that Krishna gave to Sanatana Goswami, you cannot see it, you say?
Yeah, you can see it, but usually you have to give a donation to the pujari at the Radha Damodar temple. They keep it covered by a cloth.
We saw it, no?
Yeah, maybe someone gave a donation, they opened it. Whenever anyone gives a good donation, they take the cloth off of the Shila. Yeah. Then they put the cloth back on again after 5 minutes or something. If you give us, now it used to be 100 rupees, but it's probably 1,000 now. 100 rupees is nothing. Especially for the Radha Damodar temple, it's a rich temple now. It didn't used to be. Now it's a very rich temple. They're very rich, the Radha Damodar.
It's a very rich temple.
Now it is, yeah. They get a lot of money. Because of ISKCON.
Because all the Western power.
Not only the Westerners, all the branches of the Gaudiya Math now, because so many ISKCON devotees have gone to the Gaudiya Math and they're also pumping money in there. This kind of thing they built out there in the courtyard, all the tiles, the renovation work, the monkey grid, everything, all financed by, Gaudiya Vaishnavas, mostly offshoots from ISKCON. Especially offshoots because they're trying to, monopolize Radha Damodar temple a little bit. Many of the offshoots from ISKCON, like devotees who've gone to the Gaudiya Math, Yeah. So they put money into the Radha Damodar temple, so they have a little bit of a say what goes on there. It's not, ISKCON has very little say now.
So it's ISKCON or it's not ISKCON?
Well, Radha Damodar temple is not ISKCON, it never was. It's run by the Pujaras, the family there, the Radha Damodar. Prabhupada's rooms are there, but even that now is only partially run by ISKCON.
Okay.
Half the time the Radha Damodar Pujaras, we have no say whatsoever. They do it, and half the time devotees do it, but those rooms are owned by the Radha Damodar temple. And everything there, but when people give money, they get special privileges, and they build this, and they build that, and they do this, and they do that. So it's very, you could say, like a bit of a business transaction going on under the surface too. Mostly it's like that. Money counts. They've got a soft spot for me because I lived there for 2 or 3 months, as you know, in Prabhupada's rooms. So the present pujaras were all kids when I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like which hours they were? Yeah.
You can't tell with Indian kids; they don't grow very big, but
Like
7, 8, 9-year-old kids.
And they were doing all the puja.
Not then. Now they're doing it.
Yeah.
But they remember me, all of them.
Oh, okay.
One of them invited you for a lunch, I remember.
Yeah, they remember we couldn't go, we were leaving or something. But they're very, yeah, they got their devotees. They're just, a little bit. Whatever. It's not our business to comment on what type of devotees. But they appear on the surface to be, a little bit. What do I say? I mean, the one when Prabhupada was there. I mean, the head of the family smoked cigarettes. They have, then habits are not always so normal for Gaudiya. Yeah, we don't imitate, we don't comment, but Prabhupada still had a close relationship with him. Call him Pancho or something, probably.
Because
go and see old Pancho, if I was saying like that.
This is like the family, they're all...
Caste Goswamis.
Okay.
All run by Caste Goswamis. But they're very nice. Very favourable. You can't help. The deities are special. Prabhupada lives there, as we know. And the original deities are not there anymore. These are all, they're called Partibu.
Where is it?
Mostly in Jaipur. Mostly. I think 1, 2 else.
Far from Vrindavan, Jaipur?
No, it's west. West.
And how long it take to get to Jaipur?
Well, by driving, I think it's about 6 hours, by driving.
And you can see the deities?
Yeah, absolutely.
You been there?
Yeah, been there a few times. Not, maybe 12 years last time I went. I can't
So
remember.
the original Radha Damodar are in Jaipur, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. I think Chaushikan is Radha Chaushikan, I think they're original. But they weren't there, they were from another temple. Many of the temple's land was sold and all the deities were brought to the Radha Damodar temple. And they're all worshipped on the same altar there. Radha Radha Chashi, Radha Vrindavan, Chandra, and Radha Madhava. There's 4 sets of deities worshipped in the Radha Damodar temple.
In the temple there was 4 sets of deities.
Yeah. Radha Damodar are the main one, but then there's Radha Vrindavan, Chandra, they're the big ones on the left. And then you've got Radha Madhava, and Radha Chashi. They were worshipped by other Goswamis, you know. I can't remember who. I just simply can't remember. Over the course of time, the owners of those temples sold the land. Perhaps for various wrong reasons or not, I don't know. But the deities are then brought to the Radha Damodar temple. And the original ones, however, even there, as far as I know, Chaushikhan I think is original, but I think the others were also moved to other places. I did know, but I can't remember the exact history anymore, exactly where they all went. These are also, in many cases, they're Pratibhu, that means they're like expansions of the original, but not the original. Worship still in Vrindavan. Radha Madhava is pretty sure they're in Vrindavan, in Jaipur also.
Nowadays it's not possible to do a service there, to go and, if you want to do some service, it's not
in Radha Damodar?
Yeah.
Not like before, you can't stay there, they don't let anyone stay. Devotees go there 1 month out of 2, the devotees go there and do puja. They look after Prabhupada's rooms. And the next month, the Radha Damodar Pracharas do it. How they do it, I don't know. But like that is. Because you offer bhoga. Every day there's arti and bhoga offered to Prabhupada. Now, one of the reasons being is that the donations, a lot of donations in Prabhupada's rooms come in. So the Radha Damodar want that for themselves, not for ISKCON. So this is one of the reasons. It went to court. The Radha Damodar temple took it to court. Went to the court in Uttar Pradesh. That was the final decision made by the court. Radha Damodar wanted exclusively to take over. But the court decided 50-50. Like that. But we have to pay a huge amount of money for that. I mean, the rent which we have to pay is like thousands of times more than it was during Prabhupada's time. I don't know what it is, but the last time I heard, it was a huge figure. Huge figure. That's another reason why they're rich. We're paying enormous rent. We're paying the rent. ISKCON.
ISKCON is paying the rent.
Yeah.
To keep
Prabhupada's rooms. Yeah. But they're not entirely under ISKCON, but we're paying the rent for whatever is under ISKCON, so to speak. You know, which means 1 month out of 2, ISKCON has the worship there.
This is why 1 month.
1 out of 2. That was a court decision.
This is why they continue to pay the rent and to keep.
Yeah. Otherwise, you know, God knows what will happen. At least there's some kind of control over it. But it's not like it used to be. Not at all. Everything's changed in there. I mean, when I was there, you didn't move a thing. Everything was exactly the same as it was when Prabhupada was there. You know, the cup was in the same place, the lota was in the same place, the water pitcher was in the same place, the chair was in the same place. Everything was exactly, it's all changed now. Everything's been replaced or redone. All kinds of, yeah, nothing we can do about it. Progress of time. It's unmanifest, you just see it unmanifestedly. Some things are basically the same, but most things have changed.
We can feel the presence of Prabhupada. I mean,
still there.
Still there, but for someone who knows, like you, maybe there's many things you see changing, but for us,
no, it doesn't matter.
We don't see it.
No. Even all this stuff about the Radha Damodar Pracharas, you don't really, you know, whether they are or whether they aren't, you know, it's still the same. For us, Prabhupada's still there. He said, I eternally reside in my rooms. Yeah. But that's why did we get onto Radha Damodar? I can't remember.
Because Sanatana Goswami.
Nothing to do with Sanatana Goswami. Jiva Goswami.
I don't know.
I don't know how we got onto the Radha Damodar.
Because there is the
Oh,
Shila.
Govardhan Shila, yeah.
Sanatana Goswami.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why. So you see his Bhajan Kutir, Sanatana Goswami on top of the hill there. When you go to Madam Mohan Temple. Beautiful Bhajan Kutir there. And then the well, Sanatana Goswami's well, which was sweet water. Everywhere around was salty. But for Sanatana Goswami, Krishna made that well sweet. The water's sweet. Yeah, very famous sweet water well of Sanatana Goswami.
Madam Mohan is original in Vrindavan or in Jaipur?
Jaipur. Not Jaipur, Karoli. Near Jaipur. Another town called Karoli. And you're supposed to do darshan in the same day of Radha Mohan, Radha Govinda and Radha Gopinath. They're all in. Radha Mohan are in Karoli, Radha Govinda, of course, in Jaipur, most famous, and so are Radha Gopinath in Jaipur. The original deities.
Supposed to do it the same day.
Supposed to do it in the same day. Karoli to Jaipur is about a 2-hour drive, normally. So it's not that difficult. You just have to work out the darshan times.
There is some devotees staying there in Jaipur.
Yeah, we have a big temple there. Very big. ISKCON temple. Very big. Yeah. No, one day you go to Jaipur. Yeah, that's nice enough. That's all you need to know. That's all you need. There's temples, ISKCON everywhere practically now. Karoli is an amazing place. It's quite amazing. I remember when we went there, I've only been to Karoli once. So we were going to do that. That was the plan. A whole group of us, maybe 50 of us, were in a bus. We went like that, or maybe more, maybe 2 buses, I can't remember. So we were going to do the 3 darshans in one day. So we stayed overnight as well, but a few days we stayed. But we went to Karoli, and it was so amazing there. We couldn't leave. We were doing Harinam around the town, and so we've still got plenty of time to get to Jaipur. And we spent too much time in Karoli, the Madam Mohan temple there. We did dramas and all sorts of things. Then the bus started off towards Jaipur, and the driver, he wouldn't listen to anyone else. He demanded to go on the slow roads, the little tiny roads. There's a highway, you get to the highway which goes to Jaipur. But he wouldn't go on it. He refused. And it took about twice as long as normal to get there. And it was already mid-evening by the time we reached Jaipur. It was I don't know what time it was, 7 o'clock or something when we reached Jaipur. And there was a fire on the road as we were going in. There was a whole building burst into flames. We couldn't go on the road. We had to go around the ring road and come in from the other side. That took another hour. And then when we got to the temple, there was a darshan. Darshan was 8 o'clock or something. They had 8:15 or something. They closed the day. It is 6:30 RT or something, and open again at 8. So we arrived there at just about 8, just after 8:05 or something. And we ran. Everybody flew out the bus and ran to the temple because you can't park the bus. There's millions of people and it's crowds. We ran to the temple, running like rockets to the temple to get darshan. Even people who were hardly old people who had crutches were flying along the road to get to the temple. And somehow we all got there just in time before the curtains closed, because Gopinath is 15 minutes later. So we just got darshan of Govinda before he closed. A few minutes, we all got darshan. And then we zoomed out the temple running, because there's another 10 or 15 minutes race to the Gopinath temple. We ran down the highway. Yeah, no choice, the streets are so busy. We pretty much ran down the street, like 2 kilometre and a half away, 2 kilometres or something. We ran down the street, and we just got there. They were delayed in the darshan, so even if we walked, we'd have got there. They were 15 minutes late by the opening curtains. So about 8:30 or something, they opened the curtains, or 8:40 or something. So then we got darshan of Gopinath as well. So we just made it. And then we went back, because our bus was parked near the Radha Govinda temple. We went back. We got back about 9:15 to the Radha Govinda temple. And suddenly enough, you had to go through the Govinda temple to get to the other side. And just as we entered the temple, they opened the curtains again. They had another arti about 9:20 or something. So then we had lovely darshan for like 15 minutes. And we were about the only ones there practically. Everyone else was gone. And we got Mahaprasad and everything from Govinda. It was very nice, yeah. But it was a real experience. I mean, it was like not of this world. It's like to see everyone just flying out the bus and it was like you were being carried by a transcendental wind or something. Yeah, it was just an experience which was quite extraordinary. The whole thing was extraordinary. I wrote an article about it. I don't know what happened to it. It was like, I don't know when that was. Yeah, that would have been 2010, I think. Yeah, it must have been 2010, 13 years ago. Yeah, it must have been. Yeah, it was quite far out. Worth doing, it's definitely worth. It's, there's a big benediction if you take darshan on them. You're liberated, you're guaranteed to go back to Godhead or something. Only these different benedictions are there. Some benediction I can't remember. Yeah. Sambandha Videya Prayojana. Radha Gopinath is Prayojana. Raghunath Das. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.